Shalom from Israel, I'm Ariel Ben Abraham. This week we're going to reflect on chapter 13 of the book of Psalms by King David. It's a psalm, it's a song, it's a praise. And the first verse, David asks God, for how long, Lord? So how long are you going to let us lead our consciousness with everything negative? We allow a little space for goodness. So for how long are you going to allow this? There's a major ethical question for us, not for God. It's like we are trapped in these negative trends and tracing consciousness. David is asking in our names that God, on how long? So after all, David and us recognize that it's God's will. So eventually, if God is allowing us, He's giving us, let's not be mistaken here, please. He gave us free will. Therefore, it's our choice to go back to goodness. Actually, we make choices every moment. And we have to make the right choices. And what are the right choices? The ones that are embodied, inspired by, motivated by goodness, love's ways and attributes. What David is asking God is ultimately, you created us, you put this good and evil dual consciousness in us. Yes, you give us free will in order for us to learn the process to choose goodness and understand evil as a reference, not as a choice. But God, we're not good students, we're not good learners. So for how long are you gonna let us be stupid? Yeah, we're doing the wrong thing all the time. So how long? It's a legitimate concern of David, but again, let's not fool ourselves. And David obviously, Hasbe Shalom, with all due respect, is not a fool. He's a very wise man. We repeat all the time here that David is the man who knew the best the Torah. And the book of Psalms is the proof of that. He really understood what the Torah says. More than his son Solomon. Much more. And the proof of that is the book of Psalms. It's a practical guide to understand God's ways and attributes and how God relates to his creation and to us in particular. So on one side, David is asking God, hey, I'm tired of waiting for the change of consciousness that you promised us, the final redemption that you promised that in the Torah. We want it now. We don't want to wait. It's a legitimate request. But again, it's up to us, it's not up to God. And David knows this also. But he says, after all, you are our creator, it's up to you, ultimately. So please, get rid of everything that we don't need anymore, these negative things that we don't need anymore. Sufferings, pains, frustration, deceptions, wrath, anger. So that's the question. But this is a personal question, as we will see. Is it, will you forget me forever? That you're going to forget about me forever? Like, I see that my enemies are increasing, that all these negative things that are happening to me. Have you forgotten me? How long will you hide your face from me? So David is in trouble. And we are in trouble also. When we have all these enemies, inner and outer enemies, this againstness, this adversity, this affliction that we have within ourselves, with ourselves, with our immediate surroundings, our immediate neighbors, and then in the social, national context. For how long? How long this is going to be? So David is talking, speaking in our name, in the name of human consciousness, in the name of human race? It's a deep question. So it's a personal question that applies to all of mankind. Verse 2. How long must I wrestle with my thoughts, and day after day have sorrow in my heart? How long will my enemy triumph over me? It's phrasing the request in a more detailed way, like, I'm struggling with my thoughts, like these negative trends in consciousness. Day after day have sorrow in my heart, the sadness of not living a full life in goodness. How long will my enemy triumph over me? So all these negatives, the outer enemies are the enemies, my arrogance, my selfishness, my lust, my indifference, my indolence, my greed, my coveting. It's like all these negative things, how long are they going to be there? Take them out of my consciousness. How long will my enemy triumph over me? It's like how long all these negative things that we deal every day and we manifest in the way we think, what we feel, what we say, what we do. They're basically taking over me. They're controlling me. They're my enemies. They are triumphing over me. Are you allowing this? Are you allowing the goodness that you put in me be defeated by evil? 3. Look on me and answer, Lord my God. Give light to my eyes, or I will sleep in death. David is saying, if you don't allow my goodness to reveal, to manifest in all levels of consciousness, in everything I think, do, speak, everything, feel, think, believe, I will be death. I'm death if I am under the control, under the dominion of negative trends in consciousness. So, I will be death. If I'm dead, who's going to press you? What's going to happen with your creation if you allow me to die by the negative things that are around, inside and around me? 4. And my enemy will say, I have overcome him. Like once we allow attachments, addictions, obsessions, and these wrong beliefs, these destructive habits, once they control us, when we're too addicted to them, we're not going to be able to get out. Then we're death. They sleep in death. It's interesting because the person who is dead, is not sleeping, but David is phrasing it in a very, very intelligent way, very interesting way. Sleep in death. So why like sleeping when we are not living in goodness, ways and attributes, love's ways and attributes? So David is saying, it's like, I'm dead in life, as if I am asleep. Sleeping. And my enemy will say, I have overcome him. They were defeated, basically. And my foes will rejoice when I fall. See what you mean? My enemies are rejoicing on my death, on my sleeping. Yeah. My addictions, my obsessions, my attachments. They're laughing at me. It's like, it's interesting. Well, how could you believe in this fantasy, this ego fantasy and illusion that you have made your idol, that you serve every day, every moment? You are the servant of your coveting, of your greed, of your lust, of your envy, of your wrath, of your frustration, of your depression, of your anger, your indifference, selfishness, Then indifference is saying, laughing at us, is like, or envy. It's an abstract thing. It's an illusion. It's an illusionary and temporary state in consciousness. When we envy, everything is temporary. Everything that is not related to goodness is temporary. Goodness is what we need. Goodness is the air we breathe, for instance. It's good. We breathe. It's good. We're alive. This keeps us alive. It's transcendent. But we have to go beyond the air. So what is the material manifestation as an element called air? God's love. So you heard about this phrase, like, love is in the air, kind of thing. The air is God's love. He loves us. But also He gave us free will to choose this love, to choose this goodness. Five, but I trust in your unfailing love. My heart rejoices in your redemption. It's interesting. David is making a clear difference. Like, yes, I know that I am a slave. I'm dominated by negative trends in consciousness. I know. Those are my enemies. The one that threaten me, the one that are triumphing on me, the one that are mocking me. But I trust in your love. I trust in the essence, in the goodness that you have put on me. So David is not approaching God as something far away that is a loving God. David is appealing to God's love as the source of his own love, of his own freedom from his enemies. He's appealing to God's goodness as the freedom from the negative things that he is living, that he is suffering, that he's being afflicted with. That I trust in your unfailing love, God. My heart rejoices in your redemption. This heart in this case is love. It's not that we understand, we know what redemption is. So it's not about the heart as consciousness, as the mind, as the thinking quality in our consciousness. That's one way to understand the heart, actually. It is. But in this case, talking about love. My love rejoices in your redemption. Why? Because this love, this essence that sustains us, that is an expression of God's love, the material manifestation of God's love, is our redemption. So it's going to be happy in the love that is going to be manifested, totally, fully revealed in the Messianic era. So this is not a temporary statement that God saying, once you protect me, God, from my enemies, my immediate enemies in my time, in my life, in my space, I will be rejoiced in you saving me. Yeah, it also means that. But also David is talking about this final, general redemption from the negative trends and traits in consciousness that we need to leave behind in order to enter in this rejoicing of living in love's ways and attributes. That's the Messianic era. That's the Messianic consciousness. It's just free from everything negative. They will be rejoiced because love is our cause and our effect. We see it manifest. And it's going to be forever. Verse 6, it's the last verse of this chapter 13. Then David ends saying, I will sing the Lord's praise, for he has been good to me. This is like the culmination of the process. We have to be happy, we have to rejoice, we have to sing. Why? God made me realize that goodness is my essence and true identity. That's what it means, God being good to me. The realization of being, of knowing that God is good to me is the realization of knowing who we really are, our essence and true identity. That's the goodness of God that we realize finally in every level of consciousness. You have been good to me. It's like, finally I realize that you are so good to your creation, you sustain it. Finally I realize that everything is sustained and nurtured and relieved and redeemed by your love. He has been good to me. God has been good to us. This is a beautiful chapter. It's a beautiful reflection. And with this we finish for this chapter. B'Shat Hashem, with the favor and the grace of God, we will continue next week with chapter 14. At the meantime, we wish you all an extremely abundant, blessed week. Shabbat Shalom. And until next week.